Hello, Dawn Moore at Allegiance Title Company. I hope you enjoyed last week's video bloopers. I guess that's what happens when you go on vacation. But seriously, today I am back to provide the real tip of the week. And I've been asked to present something to you talking about escalation clauses in the contract. An escalation clause is something that reads like, buyer will pay seller $5,000 more than the next highest offer. We are seeing such clauses in this day of multiple offers in an effort to make sure our buyer's offer is accepted by the seller. Are these escalation clauses binding? Yes, they can be. But I must advise against using such clauses because of all of the inherent problems and issues that arise from those provisions. In addition, I want to caution you, the Texas Association of Realtors firmly stands on the belief that insertion of such a clause by a licensee in our promulgated contract forms is the practice of law without a license. Irrespective of that, we are seeing escalation clauses in this day of multiple offers. Let me tell you about the problems with such clauses. First, how does a buyer who is submitting an offer using an escalation clause sure that the next highest offer is an actual bona fide offer or arm's length transaction and not simply an offer that is solicited by the seller from his brother-in-law to get the highest price possible? Perhaps the buyer could insert in the special provisions of the contract the clause, buyer shall pay seller $5,000 more than the next highest bona fide offer, but I'm not sure still that the buyer is fully protected, that it is an arm's length offer against which he's paying that fee. The second question comes in, well, how do you protect a buyer from paying more than they intend to pay for that property? Oftentimes agents will respond to that question with, well, we'll simply cap what the buyer's willing to pay, meaning they'll insert buyer will pay $5,000 more than the next highest offer, not to exceed blank. My question is, what keeps the seller from simply countering at that top fee? Why is the seller going to go through the steps of generating the next highest offer to get to that place? The third question is it ethical for the agent, the listing agent, to reveal the terms of the next highest offer? Isn't that confidential information? My answer to that question is yes, it is confidential information, but it is confidential information owned by the seller. The seller can consent to his agent releasing confidential information, but the catch here is anytime the seller consents to releasing confidential information, that consent must be in writing. So be sure you get your seller's consent to reveal offers when you have an escalation clause and get that consent in writing. Fourth, there is a question about whether the listing agent has actually procured the best transaction for a seller under an escalation clause. Let me give you an example. When there is an escalation clause in a contract, of course the listing agent is going to try and solicit the next highest offer. They'll go back to the competing offers and say, please submit your highest offer. But at some point, the listing agent is going to stop soliciting offers and encourage the seller to accept the contract with the escalation clause. What if that next highest offer was willing to go even higher still? The listing agent encouraged the seller to stop before he got his best offer. Fourth, or I guess this would be fifth, finally, if a seller gets two offers, both having escalation clauses in the contract, what do you do? At that point, you have to go back to both offerees and tell them to put their offer in specific numbers. Otherwise, you're chasing a bouncing ball. Clearly, there are issues with escalation clauses, and it is advised against using them. But if your client insists on inserting an escalation clause, please encourage them to seek legal advice. Allegiance Title is pleased to provide this service to you. If you have any questions or need any clarification, feel free to contact us. We'll be happy to help. Allegiance Title wants to be your resource for results. Thank you.